Morning News. A lot of headlines made there. Do we know any more specifics about this plan?
Well, look, the president is sending a clear, unambiguous America First message. Build it in the U.S. or get taxed on it. And the Wall Street Journal points out it was kind of a shot across the bow toward countries that cozied up to the president and either kind of hoped they'd catch a break or ones that hoped that he didn't really mean what he said. But again, the message was pretty clear. Now, that all being said, tariffs are kind of easier said than done, and the global supply chain is kind of like that proverbial giant tanker that takes a lot to get turned around, and there are all sorts of unpredictable impacts on prices, demand. Countries might retaliate with surcharges of their own, and much of those costs are likely to be passed on to consumers.
Was just going to ask you about how international leaders are responding and whether they are threatening their own tariffs yet and what it would mean for us. But I'm guessing it hasn't come to fruition yet.
Not yet, but it might.
Okay, so President Trump also mentioned interest rates. Let's play some of what he said.
With oil prices going down, I'll demand that interest rates drop immediately, and likewise, they should be dropping all over the world. Interest rates should follow us.
What influence does President Trump have, if any, on what the Fed does with interest rates? And is he essentially putting Jerome Powell on notice?
Well, here we go again. It's like the new boss is literally the same as the old boss. This whole thing played out several years ago. Trump is basically saying he will demand interest rates drop immediately. That sets the stage for a major clash. Tariffs and other elements of the Trump economic agenda are already a concern for policymakers, but the Fed has always been a law unto itself. But, independent of political shifts, but the president always has insisted that he should have more of a say in monetary policy. Jerome Powell is very much his own man, but there's very little the president can do to sort of legally wedge him out of his position, but wait him out until until Jerome Powell leaves in May of 2026. But this is a real flashpoint, and this was a one that was you could see coming from a mile away, quite frankly. Because it all played out in 2018 and 2020, when the president very publicly attacked and antagonized the central bank chair, who he bears mentioning appointed to that job.
Today, Chris, in the Oval Office, the president said he thought he knew more than the head of the Fed, obviously talking about Jerome Powell there. Javier David, always good to see you. Thank you. A winter storm is bringing record amounts of snow to the Gulf Coast. More than 14 million Americans were under winter weather alerts Thursday, and some areas are experiencing wind chills as low as 5 to 15 degrees below zero. The storm continues to bring rare snow to parts of the South, including some areas that are still reeling from Hurricane Helene. CBS News national correspondent Dave Malkoff has the latest from